Hi there, my name's Tad Hargrave from marketingforhippies.com and also nichingspiral.com. And I just wanted to record this video, I guess, to speak about my core philosophy around niching. Because one of the questions that I really struggled with a lot when I started was, why is this so hard for people to figure out their niche? In my workshops, this was, of course, one of the areas that people would struggle with the most. They would come and I would talk about niching, and it would just feel impossible and overwhelming for them to do it. And so I've been doing this work for about 15 years now, and everything that I learned about niching came from working with people in workshops. I didn't read books about it. There really weren't any books that I could find that spoke to me on this topic. And so I just want to give a real brief sense of why I think people struggle with niching. The main reason is because I think people look at niching as a linear thing from point A to point B. So point A, you've got no niche. At point B, you have a perfectly set niche, and then that never changes. But of course, it's more of an iterative process, and thus nichingspiral.com. This is my work in the home study course. I have the niching spiral, is because looking at niching as a spiral, that you start up here, with whatever kind of clarity you have, and it's not nothing, but you start there, and then you spiral around, and you do some experiments, you try some things, you reflect on some things, and you find yourself back here, north. And it's very easy to think, oh man, I have to start all over again. Because this is what happens with a linear thing, People start with a certain niche, and then they try some stuff, and they figure out a niche and they try it, and it doesn't work, or it works for a while, then it falls apart. And there's this feeling of going, oh my God, I'm way back to the drawing board, starting from scratch, blank slate. But it's not that. If you start up here, and you go around and then you come back, you're coming back to right there. Not up here, here. You're one ring in. If you look at a nautilus shell, how it loops, you've taken a step in. And then when you try some more things, well, now you're here, and then you keep going more and more to the center of things. So this is so important to keep in mind when we're niching, that this is an ongoing process of constant refinement that takes some reflection and thinking about things, but also some experiments. So deep reflection, bold experiments yields coming up with a niche much faster. I think one of the other reasons that people struggle with niching, there's so many, I could talk about this for a long time, but is people don't know how to organize their thoughts around it. When I talk to people about their niche, they often say, well, I have no idea. But the truth is they actually know so much. They know too much. It's overwhelming. It'd be like a grain silo full of bags of grains. You've got bags of wheat and barley and millet and rye and corn and hemp and flax and other grains, But it's this huge silo, and let's say there's one level of it for every year that you've been working on this. And so it keeps stacking. And if you've been in this for 10 years, but you haven't really thought about your niche, that's 10 floors of these sacks of grain. And you can't make any profit on them while they're in the silo. You have to take them out. And, let's just imagine the grain never rots and lasts forever. And you have no mice. But, I'm saying that the grain has to come out at a certain point. You start to divide it up. So corn goes here, and millet goes here, and barley and rye. And you divide it into those piles, and then you can actually do something with it. So most people, it's not that they don't have any clarity about their niche. It's that they have too much. They're too clear about, or they're so clear about so many things, but it's scattered. It's not organized. And nobody's ever given them a process to distinguish between, a target market and a sort of ideal client, or what they do, for whom they do it, how they do it. And these are all different things, and of course they relate, but it's very easy for this to become fuzzy or overwhelming. So my experience, again, it's not that people don't know what their niche is, have no idea, are totally fuzzy and out to lunch on this. It's that people just have too many ideas. So anyways, that's my core idea on niching. If you're interested in that, I've got a book called The Niching Nest that you can get, which has a lot of my core ideas, and I think helps people in just approaching the whole idea of niching. But then there's also the Niching Spiral Home Study Program, which is a 90-day home study program where every day there's a little bit of a step, and you get a very strong architecture and scaffolding to hold all of this. You've got to have the right buckets to put the information in. That helps you organize it so that you can actually do something with it in the marketplace. Anyways, I just wanted to share some of my core philosophy around niching, or where I'm coming from on all this. I'm happy to answer any questions. You can just put them below. And thanks so much.